This episode of the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast has been brought to you by our friends at ACT Computers. ACT Computers has been servicing the IT needs of Southwest Florida since 2004. They specialize in residential computer repair, laptop repair, tablet repair, as well as small and medium business networking. ACT Computers also offers multiple online-based services such as two-form factor authentication for when needing to access company files and programs over the internet, online backup solutions, antivirus solutions, as well as remote computer repairs. So even if you do not live in the Southwest Florida area, but you are having some minor computer issues you could use some help with, as long as you have internet access, ACT Computers can help. Give them a call at 239-283-1120. Let them know that you heard about them on our podcast and get $25 off in labor of any service. So whether you need help with your business network, your child's computer fixed, or the laptop keyboard replaced after that issue with the wine, give ACT Computers a call at 239-283-1120 or go to act-capecoral.com.
And so we're going to move on, keep the party going. Now you may hear some people coming and going because we're going to have some more actors coming in. But joining us right now, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Lou?
Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Lou.
What's your last name, Lou?
Wegner.
Lou
Wegner. That's probably important.
And Josiah?
Josiah Schreiber.
RJ kind of hinted to it a little earlier, Lou, that you came on, well, you're interested in, you saw basically the rough layout of this project early on, which was, he said, about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I'm assuming that when the project started steamrolling down the line and it actually started coming to fruition, you probably got pretty excited. Did you do any research, or how do you prepare yourself for such a role like this?
Well, a couple things. One, I think it was a little longer because I actually, at first, was nervous that there wouldn't be a role for me. I mean, I'm 23 now. I think I was 14 or 15 when I had first read the script. And, I mean, you have Tommy, who's a kid, and then you have Marines who at least have to be 18.
Yes and no. Sid Phillips, famous Marine, turned 16 on Guadalcanal.
Really?
Yes, back in the day, obviously we didn't have computers. We didn't have the infrastructure. And because patriotism was at such an all-time high, it was quite common for parents to lie and say that their kids were 18 when they were actually only 15, 16 years old, 17.
Wow.
And so it was very common for, which is even more amazing, the fact that, like I often say, nowadays you can't get a 16-year-old to mow the grass, but 75 years ago you had 16-year-olds landing on Normandy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean,
it's crazy to think about. I mean, regardless, I was just nervous, and I was, I read the script, I loved it, then read the book, loved it, wanted to be a part of it so bad, and didn't think there was a role for me in it, so I just, supported it. We're a huge military family, and I was the one person in my family that chose the acting route, and I've always wanted to find a way to pay some respects to my family and kind of go through what my parents have gone through and my other relatives, and in a weird way, I'm kind of glad it took them this long to make this movie because I don't think I would have been any other way.
It's interesting because you said you're 23 now, but they reached out to you so long ago. When did you start acting, and how did you get into acting?
I'm the worst person to ask how to get into acting because I was literally in the best place at the best time. I was an active sports player as a kid, and I was into fencing, and I was at a fencing competition at the convention center in Ohio, and there just happened to be a volleyball competition next door, and a talent scout was there visiting their niece from LA and saw me practicing in the hallway, and they just happened to be casting an episode for a show called Modern Family where they needed a fencer, and they basically just asked if I'd be interested and talked to my parents, and next thing I know, I went from a 13-year-old in a small town in Ohio to a 13-year-old in LA working on a major production. And
yeah, because Powell, Ohio isn't exactly the hotbed of casting, and I know this because you and I grew up about 45 minutes apart. I am from Grove City, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus, and I spent my 18 and 19 year old life fertilizing lawns in Powell, Ohio, and so I'm very familiar with where you grew up. And it's such a small world, and so for you to just be at a fencing practice, and that's, stories you used to hear a lot in the past. Oh, I was just down at the beach, or I was at the mall, and I, was asked to come try out to be a model, and now I'm, Cindy Crawford and all that. But in fact, it was the truth. I mean, not only were you just, I was discovered down in Malibu. No, you were in effing Powell, Ohio.
Yeah.
Actually, probably Columbus, doing a fencing tournament. And so, I mean, that in itself is an extraordinary feat.
Yeah, I fell into this out of nowhere, and it's just something I fell in love with, and I just decided to turn my whole life around and dedicate my life to being an actor. And I'm not one of those guys that's in it for the fame, the fortune. I just love doing it. Ever since I was a little kid, I've watch movies I like 100 times in theaters. My mom and I would go to the Dollar Theater, watch movies over and over and over again. And the
Dollar Theater in Dublin?
Yeah, at Gary's place.
I used to skate up from that
place. But, looking at this 10 years later and being here now and doing something that was so much in awe of as a kid, and looking back and not ever thinking that was ever, not even like thinking that was something that was possible. Those thoughts never crossed my mind. I wasn't in theater. I wasn't doing any kind of acting as a kid. I just literally fell into something that I'm crazy passionate about, and it's been so long. I honestly don't know for the life of me how I met Bobby and Chelsea. I couldn't tell you. I don't even remember. I just know that I read the script and it was so powerful, and I've always also had a huge passion for animals, and I've been working with Kids Animal Cruelty and my charity for a long time, and to be able to bring the two biggest things in my life, acting and animals, together in a project that is just so near and dear to so many people's hearts, and bring it to life has just been a really rewarding experience.
Now, Josiah, I know you are from Georgia. Are you from Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
How did you get into acting? When did it start for you?
So, actually, I am fairly new to acting. I usually tell people my first role was August of 2017, and I ended up signing for like one of those shading casting, agencies or whatever. They call themselves an agency, and one of the guys.
What you do is you come down here and you pay our photographer $500. We'll get you some headshots.
Shots. Yeah, pretty much.
The old Lou Pearlman routine.
But it's funny that it happened that way, and I wouldn't change anything because one of the guys there, he just sent me a random text, and this was outside of the agency. It was just guy to guy. He sent me a text. He's like, "Hey, go to this casting call." So I went to the casting call. There was about 400 people crammed into a little room, like a little event space, and I was one of the last people to show up. I was in the back of the line, and they were bringing people into the casting room about 20 at a time.
Cattle call.
Yeah. I was there for about 3 hours. They finally got to the last group. I was in the last group, and they picked me and one other girl to improv a scene. And this is my first audition of any type, and it's in person. And I'd never been into theater. I had one drama class in like middle school, and so one of the casting directors, she said, improv this scene. This is what I want you to do.
And improv's such a different art than acting. It's one thing to read a script, but to improv is, that's more of a comedic aspect. That's what a lot of, stand-up comedians do to learn that craft, and then they go on from being a comedian into acting. And so to have someone who's never even done community theater, has never been to an improv or done anything like that, say, oh, okay, improv the scene. Here's a place. Here's a subject. Go.
So improv isn't always necessarily comedic, though.
Yeah.
In fact, the scene that she asked me to improv was me and one girl, and it was pretty heavy, man. It was a domestic violence PSA that I was auditioning for. So she asked me to act like a drunk boyfriend who was going off on his girlfriend, and people that know me know I'm a kind-hearted guy. I don't get angry easily, and I ended up, I gave her one take, and I guess she liked my look. She said, "Do it again, more angry." And so I did it again, and she said, "Okay, it's good. Do it again, but I want you to be angry." And I did it, and I went for about 2 minutes, just improvising, and as soon as I finished, the rest of the 20 people that were in the room with me just started clapping.
Yeah.
And for me, that was huge.
That was it.
That was the only thing that went through my mind at that point was like, wow.
Yep.
Maybe I have a shot at this.
You'll never forget your first applause. You'll never forget your first laugh. So how did you get associated with Walking Point?
So I started doing. I didn't know how to get into the acting world. Obviously, I'm in Atlanta. Atlanta is the new Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta has more productions going on in film and TV than anywhere in the United States, and I think that's 3 years running.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to get started, so I started doing background work, and I just wanted to immerse myself in the culture. I'm booking as much background work as I can to learn the lingo on set, to learn how to act on set, like as far as etiquette and basically I did background for a year and a half and just doing as much as I can. And I had a couple people reach out to me from these sets and say, "Hey, you got a good look. Would you mind like coming to my production?" And they don't know how new I am to the game.
Sure.
So I started doing a couple little independent projects, and people would give me shots, and I would use that footage for reels to get more speaking roles, and it kind of just snowballed. And I eventually got to the point where I'm submitting every day to everything that I fit the bill for. And I actually went on a popular casting website for all you actors out there. I went on backstage.com, and they had a casting call on
Backpage.com?
No, not Backpage. Backstage. And Backstage.com, and they had a casting call, and I didn't know, I knew it was a war movie, and I've always, since I started, I was like, man, I can't wait till I get a war movie.
Yeah.
And I read for it, and it was 9 pages. It was a 9-page audition. The tape that I sent was about 10 minutes long. And as far as I'm concerned, when I submit an audition, I'm not pessimistic, but I want to focus on getting the next audition. And
Sure.
If this one comes through, then great, I'll give it everything I got. But as soon as I submit it, I'm focused on getting the next audition.
Mm-hmm.
And actually ended up getting one of those emails that say, "Hey, can you send in an audition?" And so I sent the audition, and getting another email saying, "Hey, we like your audition. We're considering you for this part." And then sending a second audition, which is basically a callback, because the project obviously was filming in Texas, and I'm in Atlanta, so I sent a self-tape. And apparently they were moved by my audition, and that's it. From there, I was involved, and the fact that it involved the military and involved dogs, I mean, that was it for me. It's a meaningful story. Just the script, just the sides that they sent me, the 9 pages, was so deep and meaningful that this was one of those ones that deep down I'm like, I really hope I get this project. And I didn't even know that we had the support of every town that we would go to.
Yeah. Shooting schedule's coming up. You go out to your first location, and what was your first thought about the first time you put on that uniform?
Yeah, those are tough shoes to fill. I don't know how to describe being around tons, and I mean tons of people who have been there, who know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
And being an actor, you don't feel like you measure up. You're like, how can I portray something I've never been through, realistically seen, realistically known what it feels like to have the emotions and the impact that is on a lot of these soldiers. And I got really nervous, honestly, that I wasn't going to do a good job. I was really scared. And every take, I asked Jeff, what did you think? I mean, obviously it matters what Bobby and Chelsea and everyone else thinks, but I always ask Jeff, I'm like, what did you think? Because I want to know from someone who's experienced it, am I portraying this okay? Am I portraying this the way that it needs to be portrayed? Am I portraying this the way that you saw it? And being able to look up to those people for those kind of things, and being able to look up to Jeff and having Jeff there. And quick little side note, I mean, we came here to Florida. Jeff's in Texas. Jeff wasn't supposed to be here in Florida. And I told Jeff before I left Texas, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do without you in Florida. It's just not the same putting that uniform on without you there.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up the morning of the day before the first day of shooting here in Florida, and he he walks through the door and goes, "You better get motivated, Private." I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was literally the best surprise on the planet, because I really look up to Jeff. Jeff is who I embody, I feel like, in this character, and base my whole performance on him. And but in this movie too, there's so many talented people. It is, and I said this earlier, it is not hard to act, because it's not even acting when the people around you are doing such a good job in the environment. I mean, you saw today.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And with the people around you, I mean, you build these connections with, and it's such a close-knit family that it's really easy to fall in love with these people, and to even just have to pretend to see them go is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it makes it really easy to do my job. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Now, Jeff, when the shooting started, literally, obviously you had a handful of your guys from your living history department at the museum. Obviously, those guys spend a lot of time researching, trying to fill the role, play the role, and let's be honest, they've done enough events that they've kind of had their practice roles. They've gotten proficient of what they need to do, carry the weapons, wear the uniform, how to act while in the uniform. First day of set, and you had these actors come in. Some of them may have played some military personnel in past projects, most of them probably not. How easily did they fit in with your living historians as far as the fit and finish? Was there a steeper learning curve? Did you have to take more time with them? Were you surprised at how well they picked it up?
It takes one attribute: passion. Of all the volunteers that we have at the museum, we all have one thing in common, and we want to tell that story. Some of them served in the military over 30 years. Some of them served a single day.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't treat the actors for Walking Point any different than we treat any volunteer that comes through and that wants to participate in the Living History program. It's a passion for telling a story, for evoking emotion, for honoring the greatest generation. Whether they're actors, whether they're active duty Marines, it doesn't matter the background. Harnessing what they have inside of them and what they want to do, what they want to evoke, it makes my job so much easier.
Well, I know today I could see the passion and their curiosity, because when you got out the Arasaka and we were going to do some live firing for audio's sake, all the actors came out like, ooh, I want to shoot. So that passion and the interest and the curiosity alone, because let's be honest, you and I take it for granted that we have the ability to go out and shoot M1 Garands, to shoot Arasakas, to shoot Noble rifles and all that. We take it for granted that we have access to these 75, 80, if you're shooting a 1903, 104-year-old rifle, what have you. But it's nice to see the curiosity and a passion from other people, like, oh yeah, this is something special that not everybody gets to do every day. And I'm sure that passion and that curiosity definitely helped carry over to them wanting to portray the best they could.
Absolutely. There's so many ways I found since I've separated from the Army so long ago now. There's still so many ways to serve your country.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to, I don't know the first thing about acting.
Sure.
I've learned a lot from guys like Lou and Josiah. And I think Lou said it best when he felt like he wasn't even acting. you're just in the moment. And it just comes so easy to a lot of these guys here. It was just amazing to watch their talent. But I just can't say enough about the caliber of the people at Walking Point that I've been surrounded by for the past 7-8 months. I mean, really, it just has been. It's been incredible, Lou. I mean,
it's been a fun ride. I'm really sad that we wrapped today. I really wanted to keep going. I know I didn't just make good friends on the set. I definitely, made a new family, and I'll cherish that for the rest of my life.
Absolutely, it's a bond. It's a lot like the bond you make over there. You all have different backgrounds. And the guy next to you may not be somebody you'd want to hang out with in your free time, but he may be the guy that you depend on to save your life. And that's the bond that I think everybody made here at Walking Point. We're drawn together by a common mission, and we all had a unique role in making that mission possible, and it was a very successful mission.
One of the things I noticed about Josiah today is you wrapped yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you were on set all day today.
Yes, sir.
And there was times where in order to get the shot done, you, for all intents and purposes, had to play the role of a human anchor, and that role needed to be filled, and you were right there. You filled it. You did everything that needed to be done to show a tremendous amount of character, not only with you, but with everybody, because on a project this small, and obviously when you guys were shooting in Texas, you had a bigger cast and crew, whereas when you're down here, it's even smaller. And for each one of you to step up to do what you need to do to help get the project done, I think says a lot about you. And the fact that you didn't have to be out in the hot sun for 13 hours today, but you were.
Absolutely.
And I didn't hear a single complaint out of anybody out there.
Absolutely.
Well,
RJ complained a lot.
Yeah.
To piggyback off what Lou said, I love acting. I love coming to set and helping someone create a piece of art, and that's what it is. And when you come to a set and there's immediately on the first day, like I was in communication with Chelsea and RJ for months before I even came and met them.
Would it be fair to say that not only do you love acting, but you love the process?
Absolutely.
The whole production?
I mean, that's what it is. And to come to a set and to meet these type of people, like, it's on the first day, it's apparent, like Ed said, it's apparent that it's a family environment. And we're all here for a common goal, and that's to help RJ and Chelsea see this project through and do it the best that we can. And if that means that I have to,
be a human anchor,
take up a piece of equipment back to the truck,
Sure.
that's just comes with it, and I would do it 1,000 times over to be able to pay respect to the veterans and the current people that are serving today, and I would do it 1,000 times over.
And that's the other thing I want to point out too. This goes for you, Lou, and the other actors. Back to what I said earlier about when you guys wrapped the shooting today, you guys could easily hop in your cars and roll back and say, hey, let the crew pack the shit up. We're done. We did our role. But you guys didn't. You stayed there. You guys packed up equipment. You were humping heavy gear down paths, and you were more than just actors. You were a part of the crew. You guys did your part too to help get the project done.
It's by no means, my project or Josiah's project. It's obviously it's Bobby and Chelsea's vision, but in a way it becomes your baby as well. You want to see it through. You want it to grow up and succeed and have the most successful career on the planet because your heart is in it. And when your heart's in it, I don't want a single stone to go unturned, and I don't want anything to be missed. I want everything to happen to the best that it possibly can so that it can be the best movie it possibly can.
But I don't want you two to sell yourself short, because it's not uncommon to hear about actors who, once again, my part's done, I'm out of here. And you've been out in the hot Florida sun for 12 hours. Everyone in this room has sunburns. We're all still reeking of Deep Woods Off. We're dealing with mosquitoes and fire ants. And you guys could have easily, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I just want people to realize the efforts that once your guys' roles were done, and once again, Josiah, he could have just hung out here all day in a hot tub and fished in the canal all day, but no, he was on set helping get the job done. And I think that says a lot about your all's character.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
They're also being very modest because they were doing, I mean, you saw just a fraction of what they were doing.
Yeah, because I was only here just for today.
They were, to do, this movie, and especially with Duke, it takes a lot to deal with the dog, and I'm dealing with a lot with him, so I forget things at the camp and have to bring things back. And, we had Lou and Josiah running errands for me. I'm not they're the main guys. I'm just a handler.
Yeah.
And they're running back to get a tug toy or treats or water for Duke. And Josiah today, like you said, his shoot was over.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be out there. He's holding down for a scene, holding down a table, underneath the table,
he's a human
holding
anchor.
it down. So my dog can be, one, safe, and two, get a shot for RJ to make the film. What other film are you going to go on where one of the main actors is underneath a table and it's not benefiting him?
Yeah, and that's one of the points I want to get across. Like I said, I didn't want to beat a dead horse, but I just want people to realize the amount of effort and passion that both these actors have, and not just these two actors, but everybody on this crew has put forth. And for someone like me coming from the outside, I've only been here for 12 hours today, but I noticed it instantly. I met you guys last night at dinner, but, in a noisy atmosphere like that, I really didn't get a chance to sit down and talk to you guys. But just as soon as I showed up on set today and saw you guys just doing anything that needed to be done, I thought it was great to see that, and it definitely shows the type of character you guys have, and I think you guys will both go a long way in your desires to further your acting careers.
Thank you. That really means
thank
a lot.
you. I just, in response to that, I want to say, thank you for for the praise, I guess. But
sure.
I didn't go any farther than anybody else that was here today.
Yeah.
I just every single person that was on this set in Fredericksburg as well. In Fredericksburg, like you say, it's kind of a small production. There's about 50 cast and crew.
Yeah.
In Fredericksburg. First of all, the resources that we had with Duke and Ed, and the resources that were provided by Jeff and Boom City Coffee and the different mom and pop restaurants that wanted to genuinely help and to be a part of a project like this. There was not a single person on either of these sets in Florida or Texas that was not a good person, that didn't have a good heart, and that I would not call my friend. And that says a lot about Chelsea and RJ. The fact that they brought so many people to the set and every single one of them was a good person. I mean, you attract what you are.
Sure.
And Chelsea and RJ are good people. And everybody, like, I've made great friends with Jeff and Lou, and they're horsing around right now. Like,
trying to
listen, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
No, this is all good because like we set the groundwork early that this is a rap party, and so we're having a good time.
But let me tell you, they're horsing around like my little brothers, right?
A lot of grab-assery,
right?
nipple pinching going on in the show.
They're horsing around, but wait. But I just want to say that
He's getting handcuffed, okay?
I just want to say that between these two, Lou has had a much longer career than me. His resume is 10 times as long as mine.
Yeah, but he don't have your dreamy eyes.
No, but listen, he has every reason to be an egotistical,
One Marine to another.
cocky, full of himself individual, and he's not. And he's a good kid, and he's a good guy, and I've made like I feel like I've known Jeff my whole life, and I've made great friends with both of them. And I want to shout them out because like Lou on camera, our chemistry was impeccable. Like we had some great scenes, and like Lou said, I came to Jeff after every take and before every take and say, how was that? Like, was that good? Like, what needs to change? And typically you go to the AD, the assistant director or the director for that. Jeff was my guy, and he was on it, and he would take the initiative to like if he saw a detail that was off, even if it's super minuscule to us, he was on it. And I just want to shout them out and say that like everybody on the set, man, I love y'all, and I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this project.
One of the things I regret that I missed, strictly because logistics, because I wasn't in Texas, but I would have loved to seen your guys' faces.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's a war movie, so we're talking about combat.
Right.
When you're surrounded by all the other living historians and the reenactors, the extras, and the blank rounds start firing off, and the action starts going off. I know because I've done, tactical events and I've done larger reenactments. Obviously, we'll never be able to recreate the horrors of war, and I'm happy for that because I don't want to see that. But when you're out there in the uniform and the heavy-ass helmets and the uncomfortable haversacks, and you're lugging around that heavy rifle, and in your case, you guys had the M1 carbines, which are lighter. But that situation, as real as you want to make it for the most part, what thought went through your head when all of a sudden you had a sympathy, I can never say that
Sympathetic.
word. No, sympathy.
Syphilis?
No, syphilis I can say. Not orchestra, but symphony. When you had the symphony of sound of the rifles go off, what's the first thought that went through your head?
Well, I'll start by saying, as an actor, and I think Lou would agree with this, one of the biggest compliments that we can get is to see the effect that it has on people who have been through these situations. And, I'll go back to Jeff, and I look up to this man. And
It's saying a lot considering you're like a foot and a half taller than he is.
yeah, but he's a bigger man than I am in a lot of ways, and I'm just gonna say that, like, to see his face during some of these scenes that we have to do, and to see the effect that it has on veterans, and to see it take them back there, it's the biggest compliment that we can get. And like to be able to bring tears to somebody's eyes because they've been through what we are portraying, like that's what I do it for.
You need to get some Band-Aids for your knees.
You say
Like I said,
on his nose?
like I said, little brothers.
His lips getting chapped?
This kid has no filter, and it gets worse when he's had 2 small glasses of champagne.
I gotta make a couple
He's a
comments.
lightweight.
I've been sitting over here biding my time. I gotta say.
Well, I was going to ask you the same question. When the noise started going off and the first combat scene happened for you, what went through your head? Was it, oh shit, getting real, or is this cool, or?
No, honestly, I just wanted to live in it. I mean, I think today was a better example. I was on the
Doing your thing.
I can't spoil. I'm doing my thing. But I started to get really dizzy. I was uncomfortable. I started losing feeling in my hands. I was going dizzy. I felt like I couldn't see anything. And Bobby's back there trying to prop my head up. And I'm like, no, don't do it. I want to live in this. I'm hurt. I want to know what this feels like. I don't want to be comfortable in a position where no one ever was. And I just wanted to. That felt more real to me than anything, was being able to really be into it like that. But no, yeah, when we the best experience for me actually was back in November. I'm nervous about getting into character. Made a point to go to Fredericksburg to the museum for their last reenactment of the year, and Jeff over here decides not to tell anybody that, I'm one of the actors in the movie and tells me not to tell anybody. So I get thrown into a group with all these trained, experienced people, and I don't even know how to put the freaking leggings on. And they're sitting over here making fun of me like crazy. Like, who's yeah, exactly. Who's this newbie that didn't even know how to put on a freaking uniform? And, but it was almost exactly what I needed. I mean, I was thrown into a room where I felt...
Baptism of fire?
Yeah, I felt... I didn't feel like an actor going to train for set. I felt like a guy who got thrust in a group of people who are way more experienced than I am, and I needed to learn something. I needed to learn something fast because we had shit to do. And that was the best experience for me, was kind of being under the radar and just getting thrown into it, because I don't know what it was like, but it's got to be similar to what that feels like, in my opinion. And one more thing I just got to say really quick. Josiah, I love you to death, for all your comments, by the way. Those are you're the best, and I love you, brother. But this dude is the biggest.
You want us all to leave?
No. He likes to throw you under the bus. Let me tell you, if you do something,
don't put on the table. The mic's picking up.
He will rat you out. I'll tell you, the scariest thing that happened to me on the set is we have this little stupid game we play on set where we clip people. All right.
What?
And Jeff goes, bet you can't go put a clip on Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Ed, for as you can't see.
For those you playing along at home, when they say clip, they're referring to
like a clothespin.
Clothespins.
Yeah. Ed is about 6 times my size. A cop. Has a dog that could eat my face. And I confidently walk over there. I put this clip on his back. He doesn't notice, and I start sweating.
Well, the guy looks like Negan. What do you expect?
I walk up to Jeff. I'm like, all right, you made me put it on. You're getting it off. I'm not leaving that there. Freaking Josiah goes up and goes, yeah, Lou and Jeff did it, but it wasn't me.
Whoa. To be fair, I didn't tell Ed that until last night. That it was Lou. I told Ed last night, weeks later, after... Who's throwing who under the bus right now?
But here's what happens. So because of this, I end up getting handcuffed. Stuck in said handcuffs for, about 20, 30 minutes when we're in the middle of the shooting. With no key.
He was inadvertently left at the other scene of the shooting. Wasn't my fault.
Victim of circumstance?
Yeah.
But yeah, if this isn't show, we're just all like the best of friends here, and it's just been a wonderful experience making this movie. I don't really know how to explain it any other way other than I'm just really sad to be done with it. I don't want to go home tomorrow. I want Bobby to write 90 more pages and get us back out there like now.
You may want to explain who Bobby is.
Oh, so, okay.
Everybody who is this Bobby?
Bobby is RJ. Nickname. Bobby, director. A lot of things. But yeah, it's really sad to see this over, and I think we're all masking our sadness, for lack of a better word, for being done with it by just poking fun and laughing and having a good time. But it really is a sad moment, and I trying really hard not to tear up over here, but I don't want to be done with it. I'm gonna miss these guys, and it really sucks.
Yeah.
But it's been great.
Yeah, we've both been on, like I said, Lou has a much longer resume than I do. We've both been on countless sets at this point, and you don't this is the first set that I've been on of this kind, where from the first day it feels like a family, and it's been absolute unforgettable experience. Like I would never forget this experience for the rest of my life. That this is one of my this is my favorite project I've done to date, and this may be my favorite project of my lifetime. And it's just been that impactful. And I just want to thank Chelsea and RJ for the opportunity. The rest of the cast that wasn't able to make it to Florida. Liza, she's the freaking sweetest girl in the world. Ian, Cliff, we miss you guys, but we're so grateful that we crossed paths. I'm so grateful that we crossed paths with you guys. And once again, thank you.
Too.
Donovan was running around like a madman. He had so many hats on. You know,
Yeah.
the director of photography, the grips, the lighting, the assistant camera. Everybody made this project the best that it could be, and I don't think there's anybody that could have had a better role.
Well, if people want to follow your career and get a better look at your dreamy blue eyes, where would they find you on social media?
So you can follow my Instagram at KYNG. Let me wait on the children.
That's King with a Y.
It's okay. Wait. Okay, we'll wait. Any more immature comments? I'm open. Nah.
You're supposed to be professional, damn it.
Okay, so no. I'm serious. So you can follow me on Instagram, KYNG_JOSIAH. That's King Josiah. King_Josiah. And that's where I post. That's if you want to keep up with my career. That's where I post. And I hope you guys follow me on this journey. And thanks again to my casting crew, Walking Point.
And Lou, if people want to follow you, where would they go?
Oh gosh, Lou Wegman.
There's an underscore in there.
Yeah, that's a long story. It's Wegner. Yeah, there's Lou LOU_Wegner WEGNER. Yeah, and check out Kids Against Animal Cruelty on Facebook, and if you're ever interested in getting involved, we're all over the place.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming on.
Thank you.
More importantly, I want to thank both of you for being cool with me today and hanging out with us. And I'm going to bring RJ back in here real quick because we have two more actors in.
I just hope we broke the record for longest podcast ever.
Yeah, we're going, but the part is we're actually set up in the crew's room, and they're waiting for us to shut the hell up so they can pass out. But we got two more actors in here we want to definitely sit down with. And before we bring them on, I just want to bring RJ on again real quick.
Sure.